You're born poor music, which in 18th century Qing China is basically a grime. Your family lives in a village that barely survives its own winters. You grow up in mud and debt, the kind that seeps into the walls and never leaves. Your father is a farmer when the weather permits. Your mother helps him in the rice field sometimes, but she mostly weaves rice baskets and picks herbs near the graves. Music. Your world revolves around rice rains and festivals. You're the second of five. The youngest still clings to your mother's skirt, too small to leave her side for too long. You don't really remember your older brother, but you know he was always promising that he'd take you to Suzhou one day. Then one morning he left with a man your father called a merchant. You believed it for years. Well, until you turned 8. The rain came too early this year, and the harvest drowned before it could ripen. No crops means no tax money. And no tax money means the collectors come. At first, your father borrows from a moneylender, then another. Soon, men with ledgers and short tempers start appearing at your house. One day, the lone men return. They don't bother with threats, just quiet smiles and ledgers. If you can't pay, they say, "We'll take what you owe." Their eyes linger on you and your siblings. That night, the house is music silent, except for your mother's weeping. Not another one, she mutters over and over as if words alone could stop the inevitable. Your father doesn't speak, but you could swear you saw him shed a tear. The next morning, you're dressed in your best patched robe and told to be good. The woman who arrives is all perfume and powder, smiling the way people do when they're counting coins. She says you'll learn to sing, paint, and serve tea to important men. You're told it's a better life. You tell your siblings you'll be back soon with gifts. But when the cart starts to move, the truth settles in your chest. Your brother was also sold. And you've just joined the same chain, only now promised to be gilded in silk. You spare a thought to wonder how he's doing now, but it hurts your head. So you fall asleep. You wake up from the rattling cart and the sweet, sick smell of incense. It will take you years to realize those scents are just perfume over a prison. They tell you this is your new home. The flower house, it's not what you imagined. There are no flowers, just girls of different ages moving in quiet synchrony. Their faces blank as porcelain masks. You see a sad middle-aged woman carrying a bag leaving the flower house. A madam in crimson robes watches both of you from a chair, tapping her fan like a judge keeping time. Training begins before you even know the rules. You're taught how to bow, how to pour wine so the ripples never touch the edge, how to hold a lute like it's your lover. You learn songs you don't understand and poetry meant to sound delicate even when your stomach grounds. Sometimes you don't feel like continuing the training. But when you see another girl who could keep up with the training sent to a lower brothel, one that reduces the women into slaves wanted just for their bodies, you persevere. You're beaten for mistakes. Not hard enough to scar, just enough to bruise your pride. You're praised for beauty, corrected for personality. Grace, they say, is the art of disappearing. Every morning you drink a bitter herbal tea that stains your tongue and steals your body. You don't know it yet, but it's to keep you a young girl a little longer. The madam says it preserves your value, greater than. You learn that speaking is dangerous. Every word has a price. Every smile is an investment. By 13, you've stopped thinking of yourself as a person. You're called a elegant woman. But you wonder what about how you were treated was elegant. One day, the madam inspects you under a lamp light. Then she asks you to play instruments and recite poetry. You do, she smiles. Perfect, she says, almost ready to sell. You bow just as you were taught. And for the first time you realize they've polished you into a product. You've become valuable, but not to yourself. You're 15 when the madam says, "It's time." She calls it your flower blooming. You don't understand the irony yet. That night the house glows like a lantern. Smoke curling from censers, wine sweet as rot. The air hums with laughter and flutes, but every sound feels rehearsed. You've practiced this scene for years. Now you finally get to perform. Men fill the room. Merchants, officials, scholars pretending to be poets. They test you like connoisseurs inspecting a porcelain vase. "Play the quin," one says. "Pour me wine," says another. You do. You smile. You answer their riddles with verses you memorized from your tutors. They laugh, delighted. Not at your wit, but at how easily it comes packaged in obedience. By midnight, your fingers ache. Your smile aches worse. When someone calls you charming, it sounds less like praise and more like ownership. Then come the gifts. Silk fans, jade hairpins, strings of coins. They pile them before you like offerings to a shrine. For a second, you think maybe this life won't be so bad. But the moment the men leave, the madam's assistants sweep everything away. House property, they say, not even looking at you. You sit alone in the now empty hall, face still painted, fingers still trembling. You were the center of attention for hours, but nothing in this room. Not the gold, not the music, not even your name belongs to you. Greater than. Nope. Greater than you smile one last time out of habit. It's the only thing that's still yours. You settle into the routine easily. Maybe too easily. Days blur into one long performance. Music, laughter, painted smiles. Morning lessons in calligraphy. Afternoons spent plucking the pipa until your fingers blister. By night, you perform for strangers who claim to love you for your grace. You've learned the rhythm of survival. But pour, flatter, retreat. Never too bold. Greater than. Nope. Greater than never too shy. Greater than. Nope. Greater than just perfect enough to make them pay again. The other girls whisper that you're the madam's favorite. You wish it felt like luck. Then when you turn 17, the tone in the house changes. You're told to bathe longer. Wear the finest robe. Use the good rouge. Incense burns in every room. The air's sweet enough to choke on. No one tells you why, but everyone avoids your eyes. That evening, the madam arrives smiling. The kind of smile that means business. A great honor, she says. A wealthy official has chosen you, your first night. She calls it a ceremony. You already know it's a sale. The house celebrates. Lanterns shimmer. Wine spills. Laughter rises like smoke. They toast to your beauty, your purity, your price. Behind a sliding door waits your patron, older perfumed, heavy with satisfaction. Pain comes wrapped in silk. It smells of sandalwood and power. When it's done, you lie still as the world tilts around you. The madam greets you in the morning with a gentle pat on the cheek. You did well, she says. You are one of us now. Outside, the city wakes the birds in sunlight. Inside, you finally understand.